What's up guys, and welcome to a short little video on obscure ways to make and save gold in Guild Wars 2. You've probably been around for a while, maybe you haven't, and you've seen tons of videos like I made 1,000 gold in a week, or here's what I do every single day or every week to make gold in Guild Wars 2. Obviously there's some really good ones, fractals, tons of gold, chest runs in Bajora Marshes, packed network traders, parking alts at the end of jump-in puzzles, and just so many other things. There's so many ways to make gold in Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 isn't like really a game where you just sit and farm gold in particular. Most of it is materials, and that's where a lot of metas and things come in. And yeah, let's get into a list of obscure ways you can make or save gold in Guild Wars 2. Now, number one, and probably the silliest one of all, is using World versus World, so the Mists, or also your PvP Heart of the Mists areas for teleporting and picking up things from the trading post. Now, this sounds so silly, but if you go up top here to where your PvP and World versus World is, and you enter into the lobby or go into the World versus World Mist Wall, you can basically use their teleporters to either get back to Lion's Arch and save yourself 1 to 10, maybe even more silver teleporting around, or you've got an auction house and also a bank system there that you can pick up all your things. This is actually a way that I saved a ton of gold when I first hit level 80, because you don't have gold. I mean, jeepers, teleporting backwards and forwards, doing meta events, things like that, and getting back to Lion's Arch can cost you a couple of gold a day if you're not careful. Number two, guild potions. Now, a lot of people don't notice this, but if you join a guild and the guild hits a certain level, you can basically go over to the guild's guild hall. Now, once you get to the guild bartender, make sure that you flag the guild, otherwise you will not be able to pick up these potions. But there's crazy things here: Karma boost, magic find experience, PvP experience, World vs World experience, and also World vs World reward track boost. That's mental. You're basically completing your tracks 10%, so 10% quicker, meaning you're just going to get more resources than someone who doesn't use this. It's basically just free experience or gold, because even if you're taking the experience, you're just getting spirit shards quicker than everybody else. It's actually really important to have one of these on, especially if you are one of those guys that's going to be sat in World vs World for the entire evening. Come here, switch over to a World vs World one, and when you're done, you can switch over to something else, Karma or Magic Find or whatever you want. Now for point number 3, I need to open my inventory. I'm really sorry. When you open your inventory, you will notice that you're going to have unidentified gear just from doing content in the game. You can have blue ones, you can salvage that. But for your green and your yellow unidentified gear, it's actually worth it to open it before salvaging. There's a very small percent chance, apparently 3.4% for green gear to actually become yellow gear, and there's a tiny, like a 0.2% chance on green gear for it to become exotic orange gear. The same with yellow gear. There's a chance when you open it that it becomes exotic. So if you have the patience and the bag space, opening unidentified green and yellow gear before salvaging it can mean quite a bit of extra gold, because if you can salvage yellow gear, you're obviously going to try get your globs of ectoplasm. So if you open the green unidentified gear, get some yellows, salvage them, and get yourself some extra globs, meaning extra money. So out of the 290 green unidentified gear, once opening them and salvaging all the greens off, I've gotten 10 rare pieces of gear and 1 exotic ring. So that's some gain. Number 4 is a little bit more complex. I think you'll need End of Dragons for this one. But basically, if you have a look at your little Jade bot guy over here, you can slot a few extra things in him. I have no clue what half of these do or mean, but one thing you can slot is the Scavengers Protocol magic trophies. This is pretty cool, because basically, as you're just playing the game, doing fractals, raid, open world, whatever you're doing, every time you kill in stuff, there's a chance for your little Jade bot to retrieve one of these Scavengers magic trophies or whatever. There's also a different one, I believe, but the magic trophies, in my opinion, is the best one. Now, this does cost 10 gold currently. Don't know what it is by the time you're watching this video, which is a lot. So you slot it on your character, especially ones that you like to play often. I would slot it on 1 or 2 of my main characters, especially the one that you use fractals on, and just leave it. Over time, you'll collect so many of these bags, it will pay itself back and then some. Because when you open these bags, you have a chance to get tier 4 and tier 3 magic trophy items. You also have the chance to get tier 5s, I believe. I've gotten a couple of them, I think. I'm not 100% sure. These sometimes cost more than your tier 6 ingredients. And believe me, if you're making, gifts and such for legendary items, this is what you want. So just leaving this there, doing content, you're getting yourself tons of gold passively, and it will pay itself back. Now, point number 5 is a bit of a strange one. It's kind of a bit of a roundabout way of getting gold. Karma. Basically, just through playing the game, you get karma. Every time you're doing quests, raids, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes karma can stack up. Like 14 mil karma from just raiding and probably fractals and whatever. You need to use that. Now, there's different ways to do it. I can go to the pack supply network traders every day. There's 6 of them, and that's quite a good way of getting gold. A lot of people do that, but I'm trying to go for more obscure ways. You can obviously go here to your glorious victory in the Straits of Devastation and get yourself some obsidian shards, turn that into certain items that you can sell, which will net you a little bit of gold. But there's a nice straight way that I actually learned from Teapot quite a while ago. And basically, it's also in the Straits of Devastation. If you come here to the rally waypoint, which is just a little bit above this, you can have a chat to this chap here, Rep, I don't know how to say that, and you can buy these Lost Orient jewelry boxes. These will cost quite a bit of karma, but if you basically salvage or open these, you can get quite a bit of gold. Let's get a nice round number so I don't absolutely shred this. Let's go for 300. So for 300 boxes, that's 1.365 million karma. Let's open it and have a look. Now, as you can see, through doing this method, I get quite a bit of karma back. So I won't necessarily have spent all of that karma. I will replenish some of it. And also on top of that, I get a couple of nice lodestones. They are worth quite a bit of gold and silver. And then also I got myself a few junk items that I can sell. Now, this way is not going to net you tons and tons of gold, but sometimes when you just need a little kick every now and then, great to come in here and just quickly throw away a couple of mil or 2 of karma and get yourself a bit of quick liquid gold. Now, what's strange, but I mean, something we need to talk about is spirit shards. So basically, once you're done leveling to level 80, your experience bar becomes spirit shards. So that's kind of what happens. Obviously, if you go to, say, the new expansion, you are going to have to unlock masteries. But once you've unlocked all the masteries in an area, instead of mastery experience, you get spirit shards at the end of your experience bar. So that's pretty much your continuation of leveling. Complicated, but that's pretty much it. Now, spirit shards can be converted into money. One of the easiest ways to do it is to basically actually sell, legendary items, basically. If you can go to Trade Discord and you can manage to prove that you're not some sort of a thief, there are ways where basically people will send you all the items and you'll craft the legendary item and then give it back and they'll give you some gold. And that's pretty much a really good way of making gold. Although, it's a lot simpler and a lot less scary way of making gold. That's basically converting materials up. Now, I will link in the description below a nice little website that has a few things that you can look at. But basically, there are certain materials, some T6 like trophies actually will make you money and some will lose you money. And that's based on the average exchange. Because basically when you convert, say, a tier 5 ingredient over to tier 6, there's a range of between 5 to 12 items. So if you take the medium, like 7, you can kind of estimate, are you going to make gold or are you going to lose gold over a couple of, conversions, basically. And with that being said, there is quite a bit of gold to be made. So if you do have spare spirit shards, you can help by making tier 6 ingredients and then putting them in the market. That helps a lot of other players get tier 6 ingredients and it gets you gold. And now another thing that you should probably have a look out for. If you open your inventory after doing a bit of fractals, strikes, all of those sorts of things, you tend to get quite a few items. Now, I've salvaged a few and left a couple. Sorry about my inventory, blah, blah, blah. But if you open up with the trading company, go over to trading post, sell items, and sort by a price, you can sometimes find that you have some exotic items that are worth actually quite a lot. Some of them can be worth like a gold, 2 gold, some extremely high because some people like the cosmetics. And what I would recommend is have yourself in your brain a cutoff point and say, okay, everything above 50 silver or 70 silver, I'm going to sell in the trading post. And everything below that, I'm going to salvage or throw into the Mystic Forge. Some people like to gamble for precursors, But I think because of like the Wizard's Vault, I don't really think that's as necessary now. But what I do is I kind of have that mindset, because if you salvage, you will obviously get globs of ectoplasm. So if I kind of salvage, there's a chance for that, but some items are just worth it, or even they might have runes or relics that you might want for your own build. Then you just salvage with 100% kit, grab the relic or whatever, and then there you go. And also that's usually why some of these items are worth quite a lot. Some of them have got, you know, crazy sigils put into them, so you obviously want those things. Now another part of, or an extension of that, is when even doing fractals, you'll notice two things. First of all, we're going to get ascended salvage tools from just doing fractals. Okay, they just happen. If you get lucky, you get the 5 stack or the 10 stack. Those are the good days. Sometimes you get just these individuals. It's okay. You'll also get tons of ascended rings. Eventually, you won't care about these because you'll have legendaries. Now, some of them have 1 infusion slot, some have 2. What I would recommend is start with the ones that have 2, add a 3rd slot to them, and then salvage them. You can get quite a lot of gold doing this from the unstable matrices. They sell for pretty high, and you can also use them to get those +9, +5 stat infusions to put into your gear. So those are very highly valuable if you want to try and up your gold. And that's going to do it for this video. I really hope it helps you make and save as much gold as possible. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.